Hello students of Standard 10th, welcome to the e-learning classes of DAV Moyle Public School. Subject Science. Our today's topic is Introduction to Life Processes. How do we tell the difference between what is alive and what is not alive? If we see a dog running or a cow chewing food or a man shouting loudly on the street, we know that these are living beings. What if the dog or the cow or the man were asleep? We should still think that they were alive. But how did we know that we see them breathing and we know that they are alive? What about plants? How do we know that they are alive? We see them green, some of us will say, but what about plants that have leaves of colors than other than green? They grow over time, so we know that they are alive. So some will say, in other words, we tend to think of some sort of the movements, either growth towards related or not, as common evidence for being alive. But a plant that is not visible growing is still alive, and some animals can breathe without visible movement. So, using invisible movement as the defining characteristic of life is not enough. Movement over very small scale will be visible to the naked eye. Movement of molecules, for example, is the visible molecular movement necessary for life? If we ask this question to professional biologists, they will say yes. In fact, viruses do not show any molecular movement in them, and that is partly why there is no controversy about whether they are truly alive or not. Why are molecules movement needed for life? We have seen in earlier classes that living organisms are well-organized structures. They can have tissues, tissues have cells, cells have smaller components in them, and so on. Because of the effect of the environment, this organized order nurtures of living structure is very likely to keep breathing down over time. If order breaks down, the organisms will no longer be alive. So living creatures must keep repairing and maintaining their structures. Since all these structures are made up of molecules, they must move molecules around all the time. What are the maintenance processes in living organisms? Let us explore them. The maintenance functioning of living organisms must go on even when they are not doing anything particular, even when we are just sitting in class. Even if we are just asleep, this maintenance job has to go on. The process which together performs these maintenance jobs are life processes. Since these maintenance processes are needed to prevent damage and breakdown, energy is needed for them. This energy comes from outside the body of the individual organism. So there must be a process to transfer a source of energy from outside the body of the organisms, which we call food, to the inside, a process we commonly call nutrition. If the body size of the organisms is to grow, additional raw material will also be needed from outside. Since life on the earth depends on carbohydrate based molecules, most of these food sources are also carbon based depending on the complexity of these carbon sources. Different organisms can then use different kind of nutrition processes. The outside sources of organisms could be quite varied since the environment is not under the control of the individual organisms. This source of energy therefore needed to be broken down or built up in the body and must be finally converted to a uniform source of energy that can be used for the various molecule movement needed for maintaining living structures, as well as to the kind of molecules the body needed to grow. For this, a series of chemical reactions in the body are necessary. Oxidizing reducing reactions are common to the most common chemical reactions to break down molecules. For this, many organisms use oxygen source base from the outside of the body. The process of acquiring oxygen from the body and to use it in the process of breakdown of the food sources for cellular needs. It is what we call respiration. In the case of a single-celled organism, no specific organs for taking in food, exchange of gases, or removal of waste may be needed because the entire surface of the organisms is in contact with the environment. But what happens when the body size of the organism increases and the body design become more complex? In multicellular organisms, all the cells may not be in direct contact with the surrounding environment. Thus, simply diffusion will not meet the requirement of all the cells. We have seen previously how in multicellular organisms various body parts have specialized or specialized in the functions they perform. We are familiar with the idea of these specialized tissues and with their organizations in the body of the organism. It is therefore not surprising that the uptake of food and of oxygen will also be the functions of specialized tissues. However, this poses a problem since the food and the oxygen are now taken up at the one place in the body of the organisms while all parts of the body need them. This situation creates a need for a transportation system of for carrying food and oxygen from one place to another in the body. When chemical reactions use the carbon sources and the oxygen for energy generation, they create byproducts that are not only useless for the cell of the body but could even be harmful. These waste byproducts are therefore needed to be removed from the body and discarded outside by a process called excretion. Again, if the basic rule of the body design is multicellular organisms are followed, a specialized tissues for excretion will be developed which remain or which means that the transportation system will need to transport waste away from cells to these excretory tissues. Let us consider these various processes so essential to maintain life one by one. Now it's time to check your knowledge about today's topic. Here are some questions as your assignment. I hope you understand today's topic. We again meet with new video. Till then, stay at home, be safe, PFP.